Hello, my name is Ryan Delcourt with colorHQ.com. Today I am here to show you Mirage Print. We're going to start by grabbing the file off of our desktop that we want to print and dragging it directly into the Mirage droplet. Mirage will open it up, and here we go. So once you have Mirage opened up, what you're going to want to do is make sure you have the printer that you're printing to. In my case, it's the Epson Stylus Pro 7890, and the paper that you're printing on selected. Again, in my case, the Epson Premium Luster Photo Paper. Then you're going to want to select your quality. I always like to keep it on high quality here. So then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you all the functions of Mirage Print. First of all, you can go up top here and you can see there are two tabs. There is the page preview, which shows you the image that you've selected to print, and then you also have the print preview, which shows you how that image lays on the paper. You have tabs along the left-hand side of Mirage, as you can see here, and I'm going to show you what each of those does. To start off, I just want to show you this handy little box that automatically comes up when you open a file in Mirage. So once you have your image selected, you can go into this box and you can, let's say you want to print 4 of these images. Change your quantity to 4 and hit enter. And you can see here that you're now printing 4 images. It's that easy. Now I'm going to show you the tabs along the left-hand side. The first tab is the paper tab. Under the source arrow here, you can select if you want the printer to not cut at all, if you want it to cut after each row, if you want it to double cut after each row, which acts as sort of a borderless print on top and bottom, if you want it to cut, which cuts one time after all 4 of these images have printed, or you can do cut sheet if you're using a manual sheet of paper. Now I'm going to go to cut after each row, and you'll see on the right hand side that it's going to be cutting after each row of images. If you go to the bottom here and you go through these, click the arrow here and go through all these images, you'll see that there's 4 pages with 1 image on each page. This shows that it's going to be cutting after each row. Now if I go back to just a single cut, it'll show you that it's only going to cut once after all 4 images have printed. On the bottom here, we can adjust the paper width. We're always going to want to leave the width at the width of the roll. In my case, I'm printing on a 24-inch roll of Epson Premium Luster Photo Paper, so I'm going to leave the width at 24 inches. The height will be adjusted accordingly, according to the size of the image that you're printing. So if you'll see here, my height right now is just over 99 inches. And if I go back to our box over here and I change this back to 1 print, hit enter, it's going to go back to 1 print, and you'll see that the height over here has adjusted to just over 24 inches. So that's neat and very easy to use. The next tab we're going to go to is the image tab here. Now with the image tab, you can change the size of the image if you'd like to. For example, right now I have custom, and it's at 100%. So this is going to be the original file that I dropped into Mirage. If I want to take this and I want to go to 150%, of course now it's going to blow it up too big to fit on the paper here. So I'm going to go to 110%. There you go. So you'll see that it's slightly larger than it was before. I can even go to 120, and it may take up just about the whole piece of paper here. So I'm going to go back to 100 and show you that if you fit to page, what it does is it scales the image as large as it can possibly go. So when you do fit to page, there you go, it makes it as large as it possibly can be on this size paper. You can also do fit to width, and it'll fit it to the width of the paper. Slightly smaller, but still huge. I'm going to leave it at custom and go back to 100% so that we have the original image that we were working with here. The next tab down is border. Now borders are really nice if you're doing things like printing on canvas and you need to wrap it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go 3 centimeters. Now you'll see around the image there's a white border of 3 centimeters around the entire image. The nice thing about this is, if I go over here to colored and I select our eyedropper tool, I can select any color within my image to make that border. Another nice thing is mirrored. If I click mirrored here, it's going to mirror the image, which is very, very nice for gallery wrapping a print. So I'm going to go back to empty and get rid of that border altogether, just for the time being here. Then we're going to go down to rotation. So rotation, I always like to leave it at automatic or unrotated, but you can also rotate 90 degrees, 180 degrees if you need to flip it upside down, 270, anything. But for our purposes right now, I am just going to leave it on automatic. The next tab down is the crop tool. For example, I'm going to go back in here to our box and I'm going to create 3. So now you're going to see these 3. I'm only going to select the top one and I'm going to use the crop tool here. It's 62 inches wide. I'm going to make the width 40 inches. So now you'll see that the one on the bottom that I've cropped is now only 40 inches wide and it's cropped it. I'm going to take this middle one and I'm going to crop that to 40 inches wide, but I'm also going to make the height only 15. I'm sorry, this is in centimeters right now. You can switch it to inches. It is defaulted to centimeters. So then we'll go back over here and you can see that the bottom one is cropped, the middle one is cropped, and the top one is the original. So that's how the crop tool works. Going down to tiling, if you were dealing with a large image that you cannot fit on one sheet of paper, you can use the tiling tab here and print out several prints and tape or glue them together. So that's how you use that. Right now I'm not using an image that big, so I'm not going to be using the tiling. I am going to go back here and switch this back to 1 just for our purposes right now and reset the crop tool so that it's not cropped anymore. So then we're going to go to positioning. So you'll see right now it's set to right on the left hand side here. So over here on the right hand side where you see the image, it's to the far right hand side of the paper. If I change it to left, it moves it to left justified. My favorite and what I'm going to use right now is center horizontally. So that's going to center it perfectly in the center of that paper. Moving on, placement. I am going to, let's do 6 of these. So now I have 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up here to the image size. I'm going to grab 3 of these and I'm going to change them to 30%. So now we have the 3 small ones that I've changed to 30%. I'm going to take 2 of them. I'm going to change those to 50%. And then I have the one that I'm going to leave at 100%. So you can see when I did that, you have the 3 different sizes. Now I'm going to go down to the bottom. You know, this sizing, it's really nice for if you want some wallet sizes, 5x7s, you know, anything larger than that. You can do all of it on one sheet and print it out very easily. So I'm going to go back here to the placement. So you can choose grid, which lines them up in a grid format. You can use 1 copy per sheet. So again, that'll give you the 6 pages with 1 on each sheet. Optimize for easy cutting, which is going to line them up so that when you print them out, they're easier to cut out. You only have to cut 1 line across, you know, instead of cutting each individual one out. And then there's my favorite, and which I think a lot of people will use the most, optimize for minimal waste. So when I click this, you'll see that it uses the minimum amount of paper to get all of the images out, and it lines it up nicely. So that's how the placement works. We're going to go over to print marks. I am going to change this back down to 1. So we have the 1 image again, and I'm going to turn on all the printer marks so you can see what they look like on the page. Crop marks, inward crop marks, you have center crop marks, outline crop marks, which are just going to put a dotted line around the whole entire thing. Registration marks, calibration bars, labels, and of course bleed area. I'm going to take those off for now. Okay, and then going down to color, I'm always going to leave it at normal here. You can also do gray if you're looking to do black and white prints, or profile creation if you have your own profile created. Rendering intent, I always leave it at relative colorimetric, and I advise that you do the same. However, the other 4 are there in case you need them. Last but not least, we have logo overlay, which is really neat for watermarking an image if you need to do that. So right now I'm going to use the Mirage logo. I'm going to do it at a 50% opacity, and I'm going to do a width of 20 by 10 centimeters. So there you go. You can, when I do that, you can see the Mirage watermark kind of shows up there. And down here, you can choose where you want it to show up. So right now I have it in the bottom right. I can go top right. I can go top left. You know, I can go wherever I want, but for right now I'm going to put it in the center. So there you go. You can also change it to 75% if you want to see it more, complete logo, or 25% if you just want a light watermark, even 10%. So that's how you use that tool, and all of the other tabs here in Mirage. Very, very easy and useful program to use. And I hope this video has been educational and helpful in some way. If you need any additional help with Mirage, please feel free to give us a call here at colorHQ. The number is 888-265-6717. Thank you for listening and have a great day.